So many people have been asking me, how did you, Lizzie, settle down in Australia? How was your life? How did it look like for you? You know, so many people think that my life was just like very different from theirs. So I think today I just need to clarify. I need to tell people how my life looked like for the first 1 year in this country. So I remember I moved here. It was on December 29th. And the reason why I decided to move on that specific day was because my birthday is on Christmas Day. And I wanted to have some times with my kid and my family. My family did not actually know that I was coming to Australia. They knew a night before. So I had to invite all my family, and I was like, you know what, you guys, you need to come. You need to come and see me. I have a surprise for you. So they did not actually know that I was going to come to Australia. None of them knew, except just myself. So my mom, my siblings, they all came to Eldoret. That is where I was living by that time. And they were like, oh, okay, by the time they get there, we have the nyama choma. My friends were already there, and it was just a celebration. Everyone now knew that Lizzie is going. So I told them, you guys, you know what, it is now my time, and I'm leaving the country. At this point, I've already paid the visa. I already have everything. So what happened, I remember the following morning, they escorted me to the airport. My mom took me to Nairobi with my daughter, Sasha. And yeah, I said goodbye to Kenya. So I landed here. It was on 29th of December. And I had already organized for a visit to different states, because I had never been to Australia before. So I was like, I need to go around Australia. I need to go and see how it looks like. Anyway, who is Lizzie? So I went around. I went to Melbourne. I went to New South Wales, Sydney. I went to WA. I went to not Canberra, shit. I went to Gold Coast. Ended up to go to Brisbane. It was fun for a whole month. So in February, I was here busy now going to school. It was very hot. And immediately I came back from my holiday. I did not have a car. So I depended on bus. I had never catched a bus before in Australia. So I depended on maybe just someone will drop me. And then this specific day, let me say Mr. X. I don't want to mention his name. So Mr. X was the one who was responsible of dropping me to university. Flinders to where I live is about like an hour drive. And then the road was really terrible. We did not have the Southway, I don't know, Wowo Expressway. Nowadays we have very good roads here in Adelaide. So the roads were shit. You will take even 1 hour and a half to get just to university. So this specific day, I was like, this guy is tired. He's always going to, then he was working in aged care. I was like, he's tired. He's always going to aged care, come back, escort me to school. I'm like, no, this is being very unfair. I do not need to actually put this guy to be taking me to university. So I was like, no, from today henceforth, I need to just start going by myself. I don't need to be escorted. So I decided to catch a bus. But remember at this point, I had money in my account. So I had an option of buying a car, but I was not so much into it because of the fear that Kenyans had already created in me, that, you know, police, if they catch you, if you're doing this, if you're doing blah, blah, blah. So I was so much into fear of getting into trouble while driving. So I had money, but I wasn't so sure if I needed the car. Anyway, this specific day, I decided just to go to Flinders just by myself, and I didn't want anyone to drop me. So I was like, Lizzie, you need now to start being independent. You need to catch a bus to university. Guys, remember, no one has taught me how to catch a bus. No one has taught me how to look for the bus online. So I was just going to depend on my little knowledge. And I was still very stupid because I knew if you have to catch a bus, you just go to the bus stop. And that's it. I did not know any other narrative. I did not know like there are specific numbers that you need to catch for you to get to where you're going. I knew, like, if you're going to the city, it will of course take you to the city. So I was kind of like just mixed up a little bit. Anyway, Lizzie. So I ended up getting into a bus stop direct to university. On my surprise, when I was still at the bus stop, this old Italian guy comes onto the bus stop. It was very hot, and because I was just trying to do this by myself, he was like, "Hi girl, where are you going? I can drop you to Paradise Interchange." So I was like, "Oh, thank you." So I was still very stupid. I didn't have that consciousness of you need to be aware of maybe a drug dealer or something. I was just like, "Oh, come on, this is a Mzungu just giving me lift." I did not have any other mind, like maybe someone can even abduct you. Anyway, long story short, I took the bus to the city, got to the city, proceed to Flinders, ended up to a wrong destination. And that is where my drama begins. It is 37 outside, very, very hot. Remember, I don't have any idea of even how to go back. The only thing I know at this point is just my house address, and that's it. And because I'm trying to be Miss Independent, because I was then trying to be Miss Independent, I did not want to bother anyone. So I was like, "Lizzie, you gotta do this." Outside, the driver has asked me to come outside. So he's like, "Yo, you need to be out." So anyway, that day I ended up getting lost for 5 hours before Mr. X, who is now the best photographer we have in Adelaide. You can check him out. His TikTok, social media handle, Instagram is Gasman Photographer WR. Oh, you guys is LWR. WR. So yeah. So Gasman, I had to call him. I was like, "You know what? I'm lost. I did not even attend the class. I am lost. I don't know how I'm going to retrace myself. I don't know how I'm going to get to the university. It is already late. I've already missed the classes." So he was like, "Okay, cool. Just send me your location. I'm coming to pick you." So at this point, because it was very hot, I decided to catch another bus just to get to the city. So this bus I wasn't so sure. I didn't know how to use the bus. So that was the bottom line thing. I did not know how to use the bus. Anyway, that day I came back home. I got home about midnight, about 11 to midnight. And I was like, "You know what?" So I'm telling Gasman, I'm going to buy a car. So that is what I said. I was like, "You know what? I am going to buy a car tonight." I'm like, "How do you guys normally buy a car?" And so he's like, "Oh, come on, you cannot buy a car because it is very hard for a student to just get here and like buy a car." So I was like, no, you don't need to buy a car. I can help you in dropping you to school." I was like, no. I don't want to be dropped to school. At this point, I am very tired and I just need a car, because when I used to be in Kenya, I knew how to drive. I would drive with my friends. Like, I was like, oh, I already have another hair here that I was thinking of having, but yeah, I ended up wearing the curly one, so the water waves. So I wanted to wear this one. Anyway, I was like, you know what? Oh, Jesus. You know what? I just need to buy a car. Show me how you guys normally buy a car here in Australia. So he was like, "Okay, this is how you buy a car." So he showed me some few places. He was like, "What is your budget?" I'm like, "Don't worry. Whatever I get online that is going to interest me, that is what I'm going to get." Okay. So he's like, "Oh, maybe it takes some time before you can actually buy the car." I'm like, "No, I need the car right now. Like, tomorrow I need to go and get a car." So he did not know like I was very financially stable. When I moved here, I had a lot of money because I used to do Bitcoin. So I used to be in Bitcoin, and I was quite a big person on Bitcoin. So I was like, no. I have money, and pretty much I can pull a car just by myself. I just don't need anyone to tell me like any other thing at this point. I will just buy a car. So he showed me like Facebook Market and other places. I remember there was this app, I can't remember what it's called, where you can buy like second hands. And I'm like, no, bro, I just need a good car. Like, even if it's like not new, but I need something that I will use for sometimes. So he was like, okay, Lizzie. So I'm there scrolling, he's checking what I'm doing, and then I see this convertible car. I'm like, yeah, this is what I needed. And he's like, come on, Lizzie, this is very expensive for a student. What is expensive to someone who is doing Bitcoin at that point? You can imagine, I was in Bitcoin and I had so many accounts. I remember even when I wanted to buy a house in Nairobi. There's this specific house that I had seen, it was 22 million, and I was like, oh, I need to get this house. So I was like, you don't worry about the money. So he's like, are you sure like you have money? So he doesn't want to ask me like, are you sure like you have money? But you can clearly see that is what he's asking you. So I'm like, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. So anyway, long story short, to the following day morning, because that day I had to like keep on checking other cars, and then I was like, no, I'm going to settle down on this specific convertible car. So he was like, okay, fine, tomorrow we can go and see this car. So we went in the morning to see the car. The car was new. This guy was actually selling this car because what he said to us is he was trying to bring in his, was he wife or girlfriend from overseas, and also he's a single man and he was just trying to get like everything done. Boom! Lioness Lizzie. So anyway, I started driving my car from the next day to school. It was very easy for me now because I could take myself to university. Most of the time I had to drive at night so that I can familiarize myself with the roads and the rules, and just to get the comfortability you need when you're driving. So I was like, Lizzie, you need to be driving to make it easy for myself. Anyway, I made so many friendships. I had so many friends from university, because come on, this is a girl with convertible car, and of course, if you have convertible car, you are dropping people to their house. So I will drop my friends. Remember, they are all new students. They're just in Australia for the very first time, most of them. So I had, in my class, I was the only black person, and our class was so big, about 300 or 400 students. You can imagine how Flinders is big. So I was like, this is exactly what I want, the attention. Everyone knew me. And when I came from Kenya, I remember I had my very long nails, I had my hair. If I find a photo, I will show you very soon. Of course I have the photos, I will show you guys. So I was looking very, 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 very cool for a student, and my friends were all white. So you can imagine just chilling in school. After classes, I go to the school pub, eat lunch, because I had money. Bottom line, underline, I had money. So I stayed for the whole term, for the whole semester in uni. I never worked in Australia for a whole year. I was doing Bitcoin. Most of the time, you'll just find me on my computer, chilling and just checking on my trends and how my things are going. So at this point, I closed school. So I did not bother myself to look for a job or anything. I closed school. Guys, the last day, the last day of me doing my exam, because I had one sitting exam and I was doing my exam that day, I was like, you know what? I need to go home. I booked a ticket at about almost 8 p.m. After the exam, I went to the library, booked my ticket with Emirates for the following day. You can imagine how expensive that is. But come on, money was not a factor at all. At this point, to me, money was not anything. Like, every day I was just getting my trends going up, and I was very comfortable. Anyway, Lizzie booked a flight, went back home without even telling anyone, because who needs to tell anyone what they're doing? When you have money, you become independent. You don't need to explain to people a lot of things. And at this point, everyone in Australia, like the people who knew me then in Instagram and Facebook, were like, Lizzie, she's in Illuminati. She's having abnormal money. I understand you people at the moment, because I cannot even afford a flight just to go to Kenya right now. Anyway, guys, my life was very nice for the very... Oops, I forgot I have... Oh, damn. I forgot I have a little bit of like makeup here. Anyway, my life was very good in Australia for the very first year. Everything was perfect. Damn, everything was perfect. After I came back from Kenya in June, that was to open the second semester. I had already paid the school fees, so I was like, yo, I need to start looking for a job. At this time, I have so much profit I had made on my Bitcoins, and I was like, I needed to save enough to go and buy a house in Nairobi. And then, guys, in August, one of these morning I woke up, I have lost all my Bitcoin accounts. I had 14 Bitcoin accounts. Guys, it was a nightmare. I cried. I was in a panic attack. At this point, I had decided I need a baby. I need a baby. I need to go home and buy 2 houses. I need to pay. I have already paid my school fees. Like I've organized my money, and now I've lost everything. That was my 7th month in Australia. It was a nightmare. I remember telling Gusman, and he's like, so at this specific point, everything is going crazy. I feel like my life has now started shutting down, because I was so ready to get like children, to invest, to go back, get my baby, but I wasn't so sure if I wanted to live in Australia. I was at a point where already Australia was boring, and all I needed was now, I think, to just be studying and go home. I wanted just to go through my education, and then finish and go home. But now everything is coming to an end. Anyway, guys, what happened after there was like, Lizzie, you need just to try and see if you can get your accounts back. So I tried all my possible ways. I was like, the more I try, the more this thing is stressing me. The more every day I wake up to make those phone calls to the US and talk to people. Like, I understood that, come on, Lizzie, you have lost the money and you just need to move on. It was very hard. Remember, having a baby in this country, when you're still a student without money, is not a joke. Guys, it was not easy. It was hard. That was the hardest decision that I've ever made in my life. I was like, I have to choose between myself, my life, and just any other thing. And I was like, you know what, I'll choose myself and my life. So I went for it. Anyway, it wasn't so hard, because at this point, when I moved here, I had already done my caregiving certificate back home, and I didn't want to work in aged care because of course, the stigma that everyone was telling me and putting me through, like what they're going through. So I was like, aged care, no, I'm not going to work in aged care. So I wanted just something different from aged care. So I ended up going on the Seek, checking for jobs. I was like, let me check on disability jobs. Guys, I applied for a job in the morning, and before lunchtime, they already called me for an interview. Can you imagine that? So I was like, oh, that's easy. My education is going well at this point at Flinders. I've reduced my friendship circle because I cannot afford to pretend that I'm happy anymore. No more going to the beach like I used to, because I will go to the beach for sunset every evening with my convertible. But thanks God, at this point I already have a car. I'm already very aware of the rules, the policies, and almost everything about this country. So I was not in a very, very bad state. But now the only challenge is I've lost all my money. Guys, fast forward a few months later, I have a job. I remember my first pay slip was in April the following year. That is when I had my very first pay slip. I earned about $1,000. I just did like few shifts. And I'm like, wow, I'm just being paid to go and sit down and go home. Because there was nothing I was doing. I remember I was working with this lady, and the only thing I was doing is just go with her for shopping. She would, whenever I get there, she would make hot chocolate for me, give me, and I'm like, wait, is this why I'm paid? Just for companion? So I used to have like 4 shifts in the morning. Was it 4 shifts in the morning? No. 2, not 4 shifts. 2 hours in the morning, 4 shifts in the afternoon, and 4 shifts in the evening. Almost every day. I became rich. So I kind of like took myself from the depression and the stress that I was getting into because of the money that I lost, and I started settling down. Life was not like really bad the way it was. There was hope. But guys, my life transformed. I started understanding why people are in abroad and don't have money. I started now understanding why people are here and they cannot even make their nails. They cannot even make their hair. That is when everything now kicked in, because for the 1 year that I was here, I just thought like everything was just easy because, come on, this one is finished. Jesus. Now you see I'm broke. This is how broke nowadays I am. This is how broke nowadays I am. I can't even remember to buy my personal stuff. Anyway, I'm blessed right now. Like where I am, I'm blessed. I got a job. I had to start paying my school fees with my salary, and I was working very hard. I'm this one person that I'm very faithful when it comes to working in a company. I give my 100%. I will make sure that I create an environment that is safe for both myself and the people that I work with. And this has kept me in very good position, like in very good companies. I've ended up getting like my salary hiked and, appreciation and all that. So that's one thing that I manage. I would every day wake up, go to work and appreciate myself. Every time I will wake up, I'll be like, this is the only day I have to change my life. So that thing kept me going. Every paycheck, I have like 3,500. I was working every day, and I was working with only this one specific participant. Then I don't think if we had even like overtime or what, but yeah, it became like really stable. I never had any issue with paying my school fees. My life was just okay. I thank God, because what I thought was going to kill me, trust me, did not. So my life was from billionaire or millionaire to, depending on my pay slip, I would make sure that I'm paying whatever I need to pay. I never became broke. In my history, in my education life in Australia at Flinders, I have never been in a state where I couldn't pay my school fees. I always paid my school fees. In fact, my school fees was always paid in front, like because I was paying, like every time I get like 3,000, I pay 2,000, I have 1,000 left. So my life was not like really bad. It was very, very good, to be honest. Like it wasn't very bad. It wasn't very challenging. I learned how to live with what I had. I reduced luxury, of course. I adjusted my life to fit now my new lifestyle, my pay slip lifestyle. Anyway, so that is how things looked like for me for my first year. I kept that job. I remember what happened was the same client that I was working with was meant to go to a different company, and this company, they were only employing nurses. This company had to train me because the client was like, I'm not moving without Lizzie. So they had to train me. They had to pay so much money to get me like trained for me to be able to work in that space. So guys, you see, this is what I normally talk about. When you do things in life, when you do the good things in life, it will always follow you. Whenever you sit in that job and you're trying to make everything right, it will always favor you. All right? So, yeah. So, my life has been a very good, like, amazing, easy life because I chose to make it easy. I stopped posting on my social media and updating people on what I'm doing every time. I was very, very, very careful with what I post outside there. I didn't have so many friends. I've never had so many friends. I think I only have 2 friends in this country. So if you think maybe you're my friend, yeah, I kept my circle very small. Of course, I was enjoying life. I was partying, but for the first 3-4 years in my university life, I was not partying. I had to stop partying. I had to stop eating out. I had to stop doing my nails and I had to stop doing all other thing because at this point also I was working on saving a little bit and transforming some few other people's life back home. So it was pretty much easy. So in case you're here and maybe you've been looking at me and you're like, yo, Lizzie, how did you start? How did it go? How did it look like? That is me in a second. So at the moment, we have a company, of course, that is helping so many people, transforming life and helping people to get to international countries. So in case you want to come to Australia, Canada, UK, US, wherever you want to go, we have Exodus International Migration Agent and Training. We are located in Eldoret. You can visit our office. You can always call me. I'm aspiring one day to be a migration lawyer in this country so that I can even help more. Also, I have started a cloth shop in case you want to wear this kind of clothes. You want to look good, feel good. Good dresses, very good luxury suits. You can check on Afri Luxury Boutique. Yeah. I hope you get inspired by my story.